The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly podcast. Oh my God. 2 weeks in a row. Student report. Kyle effing Nash.
Nobody was more surprised than me. How I would stoop myself this low 2 weeks in a row. I'm kidding. No, listen, joking aside, it's nice to have the day job under control a little bit to do the thing.
That's good. And I'm glad things are good for you though on that end. I remember for a while last year. I mean, and you spoke on this on the shows.
Out of work for anybody is tough shit.
No, absolutely, man. And it really fucked with you, even on off air. I mean, I'm not to get personal here, but it's good to know everything's good.
It's a hard show. I get it.
That's right, baby. We don't be rolling this fucking bro. Come on, we got a lot to get to in the show, man. I'm really glad we're doing this. I think next week we'll do our midterms.
Of course.
Yeah. So
because you're supposed to do it in week 9 because then everybody has had 8 games.
So you're saying do it after week 9, not going into week 9. You're saying
correct. Yes.
Right. That's why I fucked up for the last couple of years.
Because it's 8 on one side, 8 on the other, 9 is directly in the middle.
Right, exactly. So looking forward to that. We've got a lot to talk about today in the show. Obviously, a lot in the NFL. What a wacky year. I mean, this week still has not really. This week, to me, honestly, if you're confused about who's the favorites to do whatever, this week didn't really help anything. It just made the conversation even more kerfuddled, or whatever word you want to use in that.
I don't know that you could. I have never heard of a past participle for kerfluffle, but we are.
But it tells you where we're at in the NFL. So what
drunk shit is drunk.
We'll touch all that shit. Let's start with college first, though. Let's start with the big news of the weekend. Brian Kelly, LSU, fired by the team after their loss against Texas A&M, embarrassing loss to Texas A&M on Saturday night, which again, no one's shocked by this really, because
I think everybody bit that it's really in the middle of the season like this. To me, I'll put it this way, and I know that famed Brian Kelly, not hater, air quotes, Jim Neese of the Huddle Up podcast, tweeted records and accomplishments compared to predecessors, Les Miles, Ed Ogeron, Nick Saban, which, by the way, not exactly a list of pansies as coaches goes.
No.
And I think he was the only one on the list without 40 wins, but he was 34-14 and hadn't made a playoff or gotten a championship. And I know there are some organizations out there that would murder for 34-14 right now. Okay. But when LSU has the history that it does, the fan base becomes, for lack of a better word, as entitled as it is, the standards are just a bit higher. And I was talking with Mark Moses of the Mark Moses Show. He was saying that it was a bad move for him. And I think with the benefit of hindsight, you can say that. But I will always respect for all the trash I talk about how the ease of schedule for Notre Dame, how much trash I talk on how the ACC is dying and all this other stuff, to watch a coach, as Brian Kelly did, seek out the SEC and challenge himself, intentionally or not, I have nothing but respect for. Yeah. And he still, at the end of the day, is the only Notre Dame coach with 4 consecutive 10-win seasons. So You know, people are going to crap on him, and that's fine. But I think that has more to do with his personal demeanor than it does with his accomplishment.
But do you think the firing, given what he's done in 3.5 years there, was justified, in your opinion?
My opinion doesn't matter. I mean, I don't think it is, but my opinion doesn't matter anymore. That's what the alumnus, or more correctly, the boosters of various programs this season have shown us. Okay? We aren't a meritocracy. We're an economic
a boosterocracy in college football anyway.
A boostocracy, yeah, no, but it's driven by cash, and the reason why I'm leaving it more. It's more kind of an in-house, a regional oligarchy, if you will. Meaning, for those who don't know what an oligarchy is, it is limited to a few individuals making the decisions, right? And now it's the boosters. But if they ever get to the point where they're taking corporate investment in money, it's a whole other question, right? And that talk has been out there. We know that conferences have been kicking the tires for corporate investment for I don't want to say entrepreneur, but outside capitalist or capital groups getting involved. Venture capital, that's the word I'm looking for, getting involved in those sorts of things. So a GM keeping his job while dishing out $130 million. Hold on. $130 million, right? I don't have my soundboard, otherwise I would have played that instead.
I missed that soundboard.
But no, I that's the state of the art right now, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, also, we say entitled, but yet the last 3 coaches that coached there all won a natty.
That breeds.
And Orgeron,
Nick
Saban, and Gus, was it my guy? He's my team now.
Malzahn,
right?
LSU, dude.
Yeah, Malzahn. So
was not at LSU.
No. Sorry, who's the guy who went before after Saban before Edron?
Les Miles, right?
Les Miles, right? Eats grass. Boom, done. There you go. Sorry.
Are you quite finished now? I even said the name earlier, breaking it all down.
Okay, you have to understand. I've been awake since like 3 a.m. watching this. Fucking
see me. I just thought it was beautiful. My bad.
Oh, that too. No, for real. I did that too also. And I think that kept me awake, actually, honestly, because I took the sativa one now.
As somebody, I'm going to have a Dan Le Batard moment with you. As somebody who has never partaken in the THC in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Like, I walked into Total Wine the other day for my whiskey club and to acquire some libation, and I'm like seeing liquid, it's they didn't call it this, but it's essentially liquid THC, right? It's THC infused drinks, which I don't even know what to think of that. But like, I thought weed was supposed to mellow you out. How is this shit keeping you awake? And maybe
there's certain ones though that there are certain ones though, like the edibles that are, and I'm learning this now too also. So my friends who are much more experience in the pot business, want to call that, so like you have like,
I said what I said, you just glossed right over that.
No, right. The chocolates are the ones to put you to sleep. The ones if I take chocolate, I go to sleep immediately. But the sativas are supposed to keep you awake.
Okay.
While still having the high. So I took that last night. Last night the high, watching the Dodgers win and hit my parlay last night for the record. So good job with that. I'm running pretty good on money lately with the my parlays.
Awake. That's how I'll remember it.
Yeah. So having said this, we now have. I mean, do you remember a year like this where, like, in the middle of the year we had so many marquee jobs open like this in the middle of the season? I don't remember. I also remember this.
As like a marquee job,
schools that matter in the conversation every year. Florida with Billy Napier, they matter. They have
Florida's a marquee job, dude.
You tell me. I mean, Penn State is a big job, obviously.
Okay, so because you are awkwardly broaching the topic as
name value.
It's okay. Name value does not equal a good fucking job.
True.
Okay, Nebraska, for example, was a great job name value wise for Scott Frost to take. It was a garbage job, as we would come to find out.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think Florida's a good job right now.
I keep hearing that. You told me that this week.
Yeah, I don't think it is. The recruiting and NIL situation, it's funny. We always hear about the point, EJ, that NIL puts the sport in a state where you could flip things around fast in a year. True. The story you don't hear enough about or isn't reiterated is the risk falls just the same. It's like we've already forgotten that Bill Belichick, the alleged coaching goat of the NFL, was trifled like a beer all this year, including losing to UCF, which I saw personally while covering it for the Black and Gold Banneret. Shouts to the Night Shift podcast. It has claimed the likes of Bill Belichick and others to put them in positions to lose their job. It can make a god like it did Deion Sanders, but let's be honest, Deion Sanders was already pretty amazing in himself. But he had to sacrifice his own son and surrogate son in the form of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter in order to do it. And now that they're both gone, and a lot of other players, by the way, not doing as well this year. He's still trying. It's the constant state of rebuild. Like I heard it hinted, rumored, if you will, and I spoke about this on the Jeff Allen Sports Talk podcast, that LSU alums, boosters, might be willing to open up the wallet and back up the Brinks truck to get Nick Saban. I believe that's true. I don't think Nick takes the job because he's made it abundantly clear that this sphere of college football,
he ain't going anywhere.
He ain't about that life. Correct. And that cushy job and that cute little Aflac duck is a lot of fun.
So then you have Penn State, you got Florida, you now have LSU available now. And there's a possibility that Florida State might be available too also.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about Norvell losing his job by next month.
People talking about Malzahn as an active coach and all that. It's all funny. I don't think that stays permanent, by the way. But I think more likely he goes to Arkansas, but I digress.
Let's include Florida State in the conversation since we think that's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
What if Florida's not the best job available right now? What is of the bunch?
It's Penn State, and I don't think it's close.
Explain to the listeners why.
Because they've shown that if you can recruit well, you could still get the players in this environment. And maybe part of that was James Franklin. You know, it's funny. His name is James Franklin, but nobody's ever cited him as kind of a hot dog. Anyways.
By the way, is he black or white? He's white, right? He's very tan.
Comment on this?
Go right ahead. This is my show.
Well, right, but I don't want to be canceled. Listen.
No.
Here's my thing.
No, legit thing, Kyle.
I make jokes, but man, listen, I've been around enough circles to know that that's a thing, right? I've seen Harlem Nights and how, light skin and dark skin interact. It's the whole thing. And very interesting undertone in that movie that nobody talks about enough, by the way.
Yeah.
Shouts to my guy, Big TJ, for approaching that topic with me.
Although
it never saw the light of day on Hilarity by Default. I'm still pissed off about that. Step up, Demos, release that shit. Anyways.
Get his number, get a hold of him.
You act like I haven't bugged him about this. Why do you think I'm negotiating through the media here? Anyway,
that's right.
The reason why I say James Franklin is back is if Keegan-Michael Key can impersonate you, you're black, period.
So he is black.
So he's black.
I don't know, Kyle, legit question. I don't know if he's black or white because he looks like a white man, but then I see he's really tan. I'm like,
if Keegan-Michael Key can impersonate you,
I'm going to roll with you.
You're black.
I'm going to roll with you on this one.
All right.
He's black.
If the angry alter ego of Barack Obama can impersonate you, you're black.
Yeah. I'm gonna run with that one then. Yeah, he's black.
It's more awkward when that happens and when you do a Trump impression, or it's less awkward rather than when you do a Trump impression. That's for sure.
You know you like it. Shut the fuck up.
That's not the point. The talent you have executing, imitating Trump, and making Jim Neese very uncomfortable is fun to watch.
That's not the question. Fuck him too. He likes it also.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. All right. Speaking of college football, here is the this week's top 10 AP rankings this week. No really major changes here. Ohio State, Indiana 1 and 2 still. A&M at 3. Bama was 4. Yeah, still 4. Georgia 5. Oregon 6. Ole Miss 7. Tech at 8. Georgia Tech at 8. They went down by. I think went down 1 actually. Tech. Vanderbilt went up 1 to 9. So Miami and Vanderbilt actually swapped on 9 and 10.
Yeah.
And you should just top 25, 20. What do you want to call it? Anything?
I'd like to speak to the committee if you don't mind, DJ Christian.
Go right ahead.
Looking at this, my reaction to the committee is put Vandy in the top 5, you fucking cowards. What are we doing right now? Putting Oregon a Pac-12 team who is not that good. I said what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me started on Georgia fucking Tech. They're this year's SMU. You knew one would come out, right? And I know I'm supposed to be all happy. Oh, their coach used to coach at UCF. I don't give a damn. Play somebody. So, yeah. Ole Miss, that's cute. The SEC will beat themselves up enough and they'll fall out. Just like Vandy will eventually fall out of the top 5.
Does Bama Ole Miss play this year?
What's that?
Does Bama Ole Miss play this year?
Do Bama and Ole Miss play? I haven't checked the schedule.
I'm just curious. Okay. But
it's possible. I'll go ahead and, from the hip, I'm already a producer for the Bolt Blitz Uncut. I might as well, on the fly, be a producer for you on your show, even though I'm supposed to be a guest and I'm having to work. Where the fuck is my union card? What the hell is going on right now?
Oh my God.
The whole purpose of this segment is to talk gallons of shit on you while I do your job for you. This is that you did this to you. Do you understand?
I underpay you. I underpay you.
You pay me zero and you still underpay me, right? Yeah.
Well, exactly. Almost lost to Georgia. You're right. I'm looking at the schedule now. Hold on.
Well, I mean, losing to Georgia is, I know people want to belittle that, but that's not necessarily the biggest crime in the world. I do not see Alabama.
No, I don't either. In fact, Ole Miss has a cakewalk to the SEC title game, most likely. South Carolina, Citadel, Florida, Mississippi State. That's your 4.
I mean, putting Oklahoma in their place matters. And I think, frankly, if I'm being honest, I feel like, explain to me why Ole Miss is behind Alabama. I don't see it. Because what we've come to find out is losing to your Seminoles is a pretty bad loss this year.
Yeah, so it looks bad for them. Yeah, but so Ole Miss's big wins this year.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. Alabama has beaten 3 ranked teams, including Vanderbilt, Mizzou, and Georgia. Okay, yeah, they should be 4.
Yeah,
I stand corrected.
Yeah. Ole Miss has on their schedule, they've beaten lost to Georgia actually.
Yeah.
LSU's
already lost, just like Notre Dame.
LSU's not a good win. In fact, they barely beat LSU in that game. Oklahoma's the biggest win of the year. That's it. This win because Oklahoma's the biggest win of the year.
For Ole Miss?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, they got that right.
For now, as Oklahoma continues to drop, I think so too will Ole Miss by distribution there, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I have no problem with these rankings, honestly. I have no problem with
that. Memphis is 25. Did you have that on the bingo card?
No, I did not.
Anyways.
I did not, but I doubt they'll make any splash in the 12.
Well, the reason why they're there is because the cows of West Florida, the University of South Florida was way overrated. So
why is that? You notice the AP is really trying to shoehorn Texas much they could.
It's familiarity and Arch Manning.
Yeah. I mean, look, they have what are the quality wins this year, really, though? They don't have any.
They have a lot of quality losses, though, EJ Christian.
Yeah, they have quality losses. Oklahoma is the quality win this year. That's it.
And I think that's the only real talk. I think that's the only reason they're top 25 is beating Oklahoma. I don't know why everybody is so fond of Oklahoma. I am not.
But here's the thing, though, Kyle. They have opportunity to jump that thing still. You know why? Your next two games, Vanderbilt this week, and then Georgia a week after that. Oh, and then in 2 weeks after that, A&M. So you're playing 3 top.
That's the reason they're that high then is because the schedule, they haven't played yet, which is a fascinating way to do it. I don't agree with it, but I can appreciate it. I wish they would give that kind of not credit. I wish they would give that kind of consideration to a team like Georgia Tech that is allegedly 8th in the country. What a joke.
Well, I think what it is too also, you want to talk about a team that can jump from from being unranked 2 weeks ago to being in the top 5. If they win these 3 games, they're going in the top 5.
Maybe.
You just beat 3 top 10 teams. It's been 4 weeks.
Buddy, I'm not the one you got to sell.
I'm just saying. Anything else that stood out to you, buddy, about this? Because I'm good.
15 feels weird. I don't know what to make of that either.
Who's that?
Virginia at 15.
I mean, there's still 1 loss, right?
I think but again,
the Florida State win doesn't look as good anymore.
Can we have this conversation as we do on the regular basis? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nah, Notre Dame isn't in a conference. That's right. 4. I see what I did there.
Yeah.
4 ACC teams are not top 25 worthy. Complete trash.
Well, could you argue that it's been better this year than it has been in recent years?
No, I cannot.
I mean, you have Miami. Miami's a good team. Miami's a good team.
That last year. How are they better than last year?
You don't think Miami's better? Wait. You think Miami's worse?
Huh? That's not what I said. Your
Okay.
premise is the ACC better this year than last year? I don't see the evidence.
Okay. I think it's typical of ACC personally. Yeah, the biggest win this year is against, I would say Florida State, not anymore. Louisville is the best win of the year.
Who's best win?
Virginia.
And they're only big because Miami, to use your nomenclature, shit the bed.
Yeah, they beat the team that beat Miami.
So it's all about
proxy argument.
Hype.
It's a proxy argument.
It's all about blue blood hype, overhyping garbage teams and getting them to the top. Period.
No, I'm with you.
It's not just Notre Dame that enjoys it, right? It's the ACC as the whole. And I know they don't have a conference. And I only mentioned Notre Dame because I have been openly critical of this before. It's a great fiscal model if you could pull it off like Notre Dame has. However, to grant, how is this any different than SMU last year? Please tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, but the thing is too. Also, I think parity has not to do with this. Also, there is no clear-cut great teams anymore in college football. It's Ohio State, and you can throw maybe 1 or 2 more if you want to. But every team outside
Ohio State is the cream that rises to the top. Oh yeah,
right there. Mm-hmm.
I got you. Okay, but the SEC is still more boiled milk than the watered down ACC.
I agree with you 100%.
Close. And don't get me started on the Big Ten and that overrated action.
Like I said, the SEC is like people say, the SEC sucks this year. No, it doesn't. If anything, it's proving itself how deep it is because Vanderbilt is in the conversation, and now you can lose your job at 34-14 3 years. 3 years in that conference because the expectations are higher.
You're going to tell me that if they fired Mike Norvell and Brian Kelly got to Tallahassee, that would be seen as a downgrade.
I'll take it. I'll take him. I don't give a fuck.
You went from an American Athletic Conference coach bombing to a dude that had 4 10-win seasons at Notre Dame. Period. Right. Point blank.
For all the faults of Brian Kelly, I would easily take over Mike Norvell. That's not a conversation.
Of course you would, because no, see, I don't want to take shots at Jim because it's not just Jim Neitz. It's Notre Dame, but Notre Dame fans in general that didn't appreciate him even when he was there.
But I think the problem with Notre Dame fans is that they can't separate the two. You can say yes, he did great for us, and still be angry how he left your team.
That's exactly,
right here.
That's exactly the issue with the general Notre Dame fan is they can't separate the art from the artist, or at least they couldn't back then.
It's like me with as a Heat fan with LeBron James. So what? LeBron just sucks now because he left the Heat? No. I can be angry at him leaving the team, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't change his quality of a player he is and was.
And he's the second best player of all time.
Thank you. So yeah, you gotta separate the two, bro. This is why when you have fanhood and you get emotionally attached to it, I get it, but Brian Kelly's still a great coach. I mean, this didn't measure the expectations up in LSU. That's it. And who really could, honestly, in the SEC? Let's be real about that. Who really could?
Tough. I wonder if the last is Kirby Smart the last truly long tenured coach in college football at that level. I know you'll have
no. That's a great question because in the era of NIL and teams and schools getting much more impatient now.
Well, the reason you can't cut me off completely is because Kirk Ferentz still exists in Iowa. But what is Iowa exactly?
It depends on the schools. To me, it depends on the schools.
It's a team that discovered the forward pass a few times this year, but that's about it.
34-14 at Indiana would be okay. 34-14 at LSU.
Okay, they would be ecstatic. Are you shitting
right.
me?
I might exclude what he's done. But in most SEC schools that have won titles on a regular basis for the last 20 years, things change, bro. Things change. Your expectation change. Your barometer changes. You know this.
teams are in a different conference. These
Right.
conferences, as they even are now, may not look the same. Will there
Right.
be a Big 12 in 5 years, just as an example?
Right. So I think you'll see more of the legacy schools that are always in the conversation be much more quick with the hook on coaches if they're not getting the result faster. So you'll see less of the 10 years.
To start with, because but we've had the conversation about the bubble bursting and the money being ridiculous.
Yes.
So
yeah, and in the era of NIL, there's no more everything's transparent now. Everything's above board. So, all right, that's the NFL. You've been very what's the word? Choose the words carefully here.
Lukewarm, pessimistic, unbelieving.
You're close. Apprehensive on the Colts as a Super Bowl contender. You acknowledge they're a good team.
Apprehensive is a great word. Well done.
You acknowledge they're a good team. You just don't know if we're seeing here.
I acknowledge that they are outperforming expectations. I
Right.
never use the word good.
Correct.
They are
Now,
complete.
however, right. I think you're still on the fence about whether or not this team is truly a what they call it on First Things First, an SBOB team, Super Bowl team, Super Bowl bust team. They're not Super Bowl bust, but they're definitely are they a Super Bowl contender? Now, I also entered the year saying the same thing too, couple week games in, saying that I have to see at least 8 weeks of material. Now, obviously, the AFC being so weak this year changed that direction of my argument weeks ago. Now we're 8 weeks into the year. We're going to do a midterm next week. I'm pretty sure Colts are going to get an A. So let's just call that later. But we're talking about bigger picture here. I guess I'll ask you the question. Forget the fact that you yes or no question. I'll ask you the question. What would it take for Kyle Nash to say, yeah, you know what? These guys, they're ready. They're Super Bowl contenders. What would it take? What do you need to see?
Yeah, and the issue is this. By the way, don't lock them in with an A for midseason. I got to think about that, right?
Okay.
But
more on that later.
More on that later. That's right. The best way to explain that. Okay, what would it take for me to believe in the Indianapolis Colts as a Super Bowl team? I'm restating the question to kind of get a hold and put myself in the right frame of mind, right? To be as objective, so to speak, as possible. Because let's be honest, and I'll be full disclosure, the Indianapolis Colts might be the very thing that stop Travis D. Holmes and the Duval Dive from a playoff game show come January, right?
Yeah.
Full disclosure, full stop. I have to acknowledge my bias there. But the better way for me to answer what it would take for me to believe in the Colts. Yeah, never mind. It's funny. To start the year, I couldn't find 5 wins on their schedule. At this point in the year, it seems very interestingly that other than the Rams, they play a butt ton of teams that have been disappointing AF. And they had to sneak past the Broncos. They're not disappointing. But here's the list of remaining teams, right? Mm-hmm. Steelers, disappointing. Mm-hmm. Fraud cons, need I say more? The Chiefs aren't disappointing. They just started slow, like you and I have acknowledged they always will. The
favorites.
The Jags, also disappointing in their own right now, even though the Duval Devout would have murdered for the opportunity to hear and believe the statement 4-3 going into the bye was possible this year. The Seahawks, not a disappointment. The Niners, absolute disappointment. The Jags.
Wait, slow. The Niners disappointment. All those injuries?
They're a disappointment because of the injuries, period.
Okay.
This is not a playoff team, Ernest Christian. They just lost to the fucking Texans. What are we doing here?
All right, carry on.
So, yeah, thanks for rubbing that in, asshat.
You're welcome.
You don't hear me.
We play this week.
You don't hear me. You don't hear me jumping on here going, "Oh, Scottaboo got hurt. How does that make you feel?"
And we play this. You're lucky we play this week too. Also, Giants and Niners.
Well, isn't that just a mash bowl if I ever heard of one? Anyways,
yeah.
You're excited about this game? I'm not.
Really. I'm not.
You know,
they have the Jags again.
Well, right. So, yeah, you interrupted me. I forgot.
Sorry about that.
And then they finished the season with the Jags, who might be back on track by then. We'll see. And then they finished with the Texans.
Right.
There is nobody challenging them here except for the Seahawks and the Chiefs, in my opinion. This isn't as bad as the Chicago Bears that made it to the Super Bowl to eventually get beat by Peyton Manning, and I should say walloped by Peyton Manning and the Colts, but it's close. This isn't a New England Patriots schedule during the time of Bill Belichick facing a garbage AFC East, but it's close. As it is, they're in an AFC South, which really the only team performing to expectation is ironically the Jaguars, who are seen as a disappointment by their fan base because they're not, 5-something.
You're not suggesting that Daniel Jones is more Rex Grossman, are you? Because I think he's playing better than Rex Grossman
I
that year.
suggested the living fuck out of that, actually.
Okay. I would think he's playing better than Grossman in 06.
Well, and it's not about Grossman's play, let me be clear. What Grossman also had was a pretty good roster around him, and that is exactly what the Colts are. Jonathan Taylor, we've said on this show before, is an MVP candidate. Daniel Jones, he does what he reminds me of, and I said this the other day, I forget where it was. He is Russell Carrington Wilson with the Legion of Boom and Marshawn Lynch.
Early years, 2012, 2014, 2015.
Yes, yeah. Obviously. His rookie years first starting out, correct. Which, for all intents and purposes, the argument could be made that he still is essentially a rookie because he was not developed all that well by the alleged coach of the year in 2022. But, some of us here worship Brian Daboll, right, EJ Christian?
What? Something he knows. Something he knows. You have allergies.
You can't handle the truth. I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to. You can't handle the truth.
So Kyle, here's the thing. I'm not going to disagree with you. Here's the reason why.
Because I'm right?
Completely. No. The environment changed my perspective. If you're asking me who do you trust more, bigger picture, if I see things, how I see things playing out, we'll get to that in a second, but I still think the Ravens are still a conversation. I still think the Bills will get things together. Now, I do think the Colts right now, what we've seen, are better right now. I've been playing better, and it's showing more sustainability. Sure. But again, what I always tell teams that come out of nowhere, you just don't get to cut the line because you had a great 8 weeks. You got to earn my trust. Yeah. And these teams I mentioned, the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, they've done something for a long time now to say, okay, start slow. You know what? But I trust them to get it all together. I.e., Kansas City Chiefs this year. Start 0-2, blah, blah, blah. Look like they're struggling now. Look where they're at now. So that's why, I always hold back. But the reason why I think the Colts are a Super Bowl contender now is because the AFC environment opens that door. Because it's still, those teams still haven't got out of the holes. The Ravens are still in the hole. Even though I think they'll get out of the hole, they're still in the hole. So that's why the Colts, it's by default almost in the sense of the Colts.
Yeah, I'll say this. I have more faith in the Bills than I do the Ravens, mostly because Lamar Demetrius Jackson is dealing with injury. It is what it is.
Correct. Right.
And the Ravens in general are dealing with a ton of injuries on defense too. I just think they're in a lot more trouble than the Bills are, and we're worshiping the Pats just because, what is it that King George was quoted about saying about America, like, countries like you always seek a king.
Yeah.
I feel like the NFL fan base is just used to but acknowledging the Patriots as a good team. And while Vrabel is proving that he was a coach that should never have been fired, as I have said on this show, I believe, you expect me to believe in Drake May that much? I can't do it.
So then I need to ask that same question to you in regards to the Patriots then. So what would it take for you to say, okay, the Pats are for real?
Well, and so again, clearly, I think we can agree that the AFC East is, I'm not going to say a down year, but they're in a down year, right? We can agree with that.
Well, thank you, Miami.
Well, I mean, but when it comes to, yeah, thank you, Miami. Not one. You don't thank Miami. You're celebrating basically Tyreek Hill getting hurt. And with that much asset being tied into somebody that's not even playing, the value of your team is dramatically reduced, right? That's a point our guy Cam Newton has made on the air, by the way. But when I look at the Patriots, right, their opening schedule, what was the top opponent that they had to play? The Bills, right?
Correct.
Some names on the Pats schedule thus far: the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Steelers, who are disappointing.
And the Raiders they lost to, for the record.
You beat me there. Gotcha. The Panthers, the Bills, the Saints, the Titans, the Browns, and the Fraud Cons are next week.
Totally with you.
Okay.
Totally with you.
Then there's the rest of the season. The Fraud Cons, the Bucks might be their toughest game. The Jets, a disappointing Bengals team who plays no defense. Your Giants, allegedly. The Bills again. The Ravens, who are a shadow of their former selves. The Jets, the Dolphins. This is not an overwhelming schedule, and it's a little weaker based on the Ravens' current status and the Bengals' current status.
Correct.
So what's going to happen is they're going to meander their way into potentially a playoff spot and get blasted. The only positive for that is there's a coach in Mike Vrabel that knows what to do in that situation, because the Titans did that for how many years, buddy, before they got good.
Yep.
So maybe Drake May can be their Ryan Tannehill. I'll put that on the table.
It's the same logic with the Colts. Now the Colts have done some things that are a little more impressive, but they've also played some teams also too to warrant at least some sort of discussion. The Patriots have not. I mean, Buffalo is the only one they have one to speak of. Yeah. And I don't want
right.
And I'm gonna apply the same logic here with the Colts and with the Patriots too. Also, you don't get the cut in line. You've been bad for a couple of years now. You don't get the cut in line now. You got to earn my love, earn my trust. And your schedule has not really has that set. Look, your toughest game moving forward, as you mentioned, is probably Buffalo and maybe Baltimore. If Baltimore get the shit together by then. But
at this point, I don't think that's a thing. I think it's the Bucs, dude. I really do.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks. So again, you have to earn our trust. Maybe if you win those games in certain ways, then maybe we can have that conversation. But for the time being, no. I'm gonna still say they are a playoff team who might win the division, but they are also a Super Bowl pretender. So,
bordering on fraud, but yes.
Having said that, I'm gonna swing this here. This question here. Team most likely to win their division. Okay, you have to pick one only. Okay, Ravens in the AFC South, North rather. The Pats in the AFC East.
But I know you got to do this for the listeners, so go ahead.
No. So you have the Ravens in the AFC North, the Pats in the AFC East, or the Broncos in the South, and in the West rather, AFC South. What fucking West, bro? Wake up! Which team is most likely to win that division? Pick one.
So
only one.
So you don't mean in the whole league? You're narrowing it down. Got you.
Just
so you got
these three.
You're going Broncos, Ravens, and the Pats.
Yeah, who's most likely to win the division? In your opinion, based on the environment, based on the situations, based on where we're at now.
Broncos.
Interesting.
Broncos. The Chargers are so very injured at the offensive line spot, and I will say them beating the Vikings on Thursday was huge. I just don't take the Pats that seriously. Now, to answer your question, I might be violating my own rules and not looking at the schedule closely enough. But if I am wrong and it is the Pats, it's because of their schedule.
True. Like for me, I want to say the Ravens because we live in a world where the AFC North really is not good.
And the reason why they're not good is because of the challenge that the Ravens are enduring. All right. I think Huntley is a good quarterback, but unfortunately, he can't come in and substitute for the defensive players as well. Right. Unfortunately for the Ravens, that's not a thing.
Yeah. I think KC clips off Denver. That's the thing. I think KC clips off Denver. So to me, the better answer is probably the Patriots because of the fact that their schedule dictates that. But again, Buffalo is literally a game behind them.
And
a half game behind them.
Here's the real, like with the reason why the Broncos are tough is they're already down a game to the Chargers, and I believe they're already down a game to the Chiefs.
No, they didn't play yet.
They haven't played yet. Are they down another division game? I'm trying to remember. I mean, well,
no, they lost to they lost to the
they lost to the Chargers. I know
Chargers.
that. Okay. And yeah, they haven't played any other division games yet. So you know what? I feel better about my answer now than I did. And they should have beaten the Colts until they blew the field goal, right?
They should have lost to the Giants though too, but they're here and there.
Well,
they suck.
That's more about your Giants than it is them.
That's correct. This is correct.
By the way, if you wanted to know possibly how Vikings felt when your boy Dabo beat them in the playoffs when they were frauds at the time too, it felt something like that. Just gonna throw that out.
Hey, this schedule is kind of tough though. So here's a schedule.
Yeah,
at Texans, Raiders. So this will be 2 wins. Texans might be a little weird because it's in Houston. Then you got the Chiefs at home. Commanders. We'll see if Jane Daniels is back for that game at Washington. Vegas again. That's a win. Then Green Bay at home. The Jags at home. Then Chiefs again, and then the Chargers close the year out.
On Christmas in prime time, by the way, with the
Chiefs. Yeah. So just the schedule favors the Pats in that question. The environment favors the Ravens in that question.
But what is this murderer's row schedule you're talking about for the Broncos?
Well, Packers, Chiefs twice, Packers. And then you got the weird
twice Packers. Bam, it ends there. If you think the Packers are reliably good right now, you haven't been paying attention. You said yourself the Commanders aren't reliable because of Jane Daniels' health. And the Jags, reliable, child, please.
Well, I'm saying there's a couple of weirdo games looking there. There's a couple of weirdo games. I think the Jaguars game could be a weirdo game. The Houston game's a weirdo game.
No, it's not.
Again, could be. Here's why. It's in Houston. That's why. It's in Houston.
Who cares?
Okay.
If you have a defense that good and you can't protect, I don't give a damn.
If Denver loses next, they play this upcoming week. If they lose, you apologize to me next week, right?
Oh yeah. If they lose, I would be more than happy to call myself surprised. 100%.
Right. So, and the Commanders, if Daniels is back, we'll see how to. It's a home game for the Commanders.
I'll acknowledge that for sure.
Yeah. If he's healthy in that game, then it's a weirdo game because it's a home and 1-2 on top of that, but. They're not as good. I told folks they're going to come back to earth a little bit this year. I didn't think it'll be this bad, but
who? The Texans?
The Commanders.
Commanders? Well, it's not fair to say that when injuries involved. I'll put it
correct. And key injuries, not just Daniels too. Also, McLaren too. Also,
but. Yeah, Scary Terry missing's huge. Absolutely.
So, CJ Stroud's not back.
CJ Stroud did what now?
He's not back then. I guess we kind of teased last week on the show about. Do we have a CJ Stroud problem here now? And then he had his big game against San Francisco on Sunday.
Right. Well, and keep in mind, this is San Francisco without any of their key defensive players. So let's pump the brakes just a bit, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, CJ Stroud was never gone. Can we be honest about that? CJ Stroud is not CJ Stroud's biggest problem.
Okay.
It's like I've said on this show, the moment they got rid of Laramie Tunsil, I knew there's going to be problems, right?
That's true. That's actually a good point. I look, and I think to his credit, last year, he had a down year last year, but he played better as the year ended, and guys got healthier, and he played well in the playoff game. So I think we're grading a bit on the curve here with him a little bit. Like we expect it's the same thing with Jane Daniels. He had a great rookie year. We expect him to continue to ascend, and then he kind of stalls a little bit.
You might be grading him on a curve.
Right.
What I'm doing is grading consistently. Just the same way I got visibly angry when people came out with this Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence comparison. And I gave Trevor grace. I'm going to give CJ Stroud grace because it's the same thing. By the way, I'm noticing that nobody's making those same comparisons of Daniel Jones and CJ Stroud outside perhaps of Duval County.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Why don't you ask your brother about that?
I'll ask him tonight when I talk to him. By the way, he I think he likes Trevor though. But you know what? We'll have another conversation about Trevor Lawrence down the road because I'm sure you guys talk about this on the podcast.
Well, listen, yeah, I think you would do wise to check out Monday's episode of the Duval Dive.
I could have swore he has something related to that in his.
He's on the thumbnail, for Christ's sake. I mean, what are you doing, EJ? Of course we did.
Thumbnail. Who does thumbnails anymore? Oh yeah, I do.
Anybody who does YouTube does thumbnails.
That's correct. That's correct. What else got here before we oh yeah, so I know we touched on this already, the MVP discussion. So why is it not Jonathan Taylor at this point now, the favorite?
Why isn't it Jonathan Taylor? You tell me, Humpy Bumpy.
I feel like this MVP thing is like so fluid that we get a new name every week, every 2 weeks. It was, remember Baker Mayfield was the lead for a couple weeks ago.
Your boy Baker's still in the combo. Let's lead with that.
Oh, without question.
The reason why that fell out of favor is because of the game he had against the Lions, which is he's really being punished for in the moment, kind of like you guys do on your huddle up rankings, on your huddle up power ranking, your puddle up rankings,
muddle pun.
Your huddle up power rankings. I feel like Baker kind of got punished for that singular game. Fair or not, that's what I think happened, right? But I think Baker's still in the convo. I feel like there is a path for success for Derrick Henry if your Ravens do bounce back. But it's clearly Jonathan Taylor right now.
Yeah.
This team is left for dead, and that balance in the ground game keeps Daniel Jones alive. Let's be clear, please.
How about
maybe Justin Herbert should be in the conversation as well?
Justin Herbert. I would have said yes weeks ago. Now I'm not so sure. Here's a guy. Go ahead.
What you say you're not so sure about Justin Herbert?
Yeah, right now.
Buddy, with the lack of protection, there's no reason for him to be succeeding at the clip that he is.
But you know that
if you want an example of what a lack of protection can do to a team, please see CJ Stroud. And by the way, CJ Stroud doesn't have a rookie at running back like Omarion Hampton is. Najee Harris is a no-show because he's hurt for the year. Khalil Mack has also been missing. So Justin Herbert has had to win it in shootouts without protection. Please tell me again why you're down on Justin Herbert as a candidate.
Not down. I'm just saying that I don't know if I put him in my top 5, though.
Well, then you're wrong. I'm so sorry.
Okay. What about Jalen Hurts in the conversation?
What about Jalen Hurts?
20 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Hey, I know for a fact you watch Cam Newton. He's explained Jalen Hurts and his abundance of talent that he's surrounded with, and it's still not clicking right. Because they're calling for the run, there's stuff in the box, and you still can't get it done with A.J. Brown.
And the numbers are still
and Devonta Smith
popping. 15 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's pretty efficient.
Efficiency on a run team does not make you an MVP candidate.
But are they run team now? Because they've been games where like, are they though? Because that's been a complaint that's been the complaint for the team so far this year is that they're not running the ball enough.
If they're not, no, that's not true. If that were the case, why is A.J. Brown complaining about not getting the ball enough, dude? Read the room.
I will say Jalen Hurts navigating that stuff, though, with the A.J. Brown thing has been, he's had to navigate all that stuff.
So if you're going to play the intangibles defense, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But he's only having to do that because he's surrounded by that much talent in a game where they should have just lost to the fucking Giants if it weren't for some horrific officiating.
Oh God, dude. I think
that's your king.
If there's a case to end the tush push, that could be it.
No, it's not.
You don't think that blown call on 4th down?
Bad officiating is not the defense to end the tush push. No. What are we doing?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe, dude, that call was egregious, brother.
Yeah, it has shit to do with the tush push. It's blind fucking officials.
So if I give you right now, you give me your top 5 right now this week, MVP candidates in any order. I don't give a crap. Jonathan Taylor, Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. And this is the part where you start reaching for scraps a little bit, right? A little bit. What about Patty?
Levon's not there yet. Like okay. This Chiefs team is not world beating anybody, and I know they beat the Lions, and that's cool and all. But at days in, I'm just not there yet. There is a path for victory for him there to get the MVP. If there was ever a year, like if they pull off a turnaround again, with a decrepit Travis, Michael Kelsey, and that receiver core, there's a fine defense for it. Certainly over Jalen Hurts. I'll agree with that.
Right. 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, on pace for another 4,000-yard season, 103-yard passer rating. Pretty good stuff here, man.
I'm not going to go, you know what? I might have to throw a John Matthew Stafford in there.
What about Sam Darnold? He's been really good this year.
That defense has a lot more to do with it in my
agreed
than he does. But John Matthew Stafford is somebody I would throw in there too. And like I can't throw in Derrick Henry yet because the Ravens have to be successful for that to be a real thing. And they aren't yet. So there's that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put Josh Allen on the list because they are only one game out of first from the Pats in a team whose talent is not to the level of certainly the Eagles, right? And whose defense has also been letting him down, and still they're 5-2. Not to say that the Bills have had a great schedule so far. You know, they beat the Ravens back when they were still good and had a full roster.
So basically, no shot that Drake May gets any conversation.
Not from me,
brother. He has 75% completion percentage, on pace for over 4,000 yards.
What?
15 touchdowns, 3 picks.
No, don't do this. I know you watch.
I'm looking for the yak. I'm looking for the yak.
Trash.
I'm looking for the yak. I'm looking for the yak because that's where I look at the
you talking about Drake May as an MVP candidate makes me want a yak. Okay.
No, I didn't say it was the case. I'm just throwing names out there in the conversation of people who are having great years.
I gave you 5, and they're better than Drake May. And by the way, you don't even have friggin' Justin Herbert in your top 5. What the hell do you know?
Maybe. I mean, people know the game. Then maybe I'll put him in there. They've been kind of mid the last couple weeks, though, the team.
With no offensive line, jackass.
True.
Come on, man.
Drake May. I knew Drake May would have fucking triggered you because you were never a fan of the guy. But
it's because he's an ACC quarterback who's overrated. We had the conversation last week on the show, Bob.
We'll see if this thing continues, man. We'll see. Okay, one last thing to get here. I want to talk about this, actually, because a little off topic. It's still sports, but you mentioned Cam Newton a couple times. Dude, I remember you sent me a text. You sent, actually, it was a group text. It was you and I and Big Jim about a month ago talking about Cam Newton and how he's killing the media. And I told you, I think he is. Like, to me, it's shocking, even more shocking. Forget the fact he's doing well with his own stuff, with his own podcast and his own downs.
Absolutely great. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's so authentic who he is. But to see him transition that's what he's doing, which made me believe would not be good for the mainstream, and to just sit in well with on First Take. I stopped watching First Take, okay? And I only started watching it again recently because Cam Newton's on there. Because Cam Newton I find very compelling.
We have been Cam Newton guys for some time. The fact that he's become a personality should surprise absolutely no one. The only problem I have ever had with Cam Newton is some of his hat choices are just a bit too much.
Yeah.
Some of them are great.
Well, yeah. That the hat thing, and then also the how he tweets, the little stuff with the letters, and it's his style, of course. But I can't stand that. It's annoying.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's such a great transition for him.
I think if nothing else, Cam Newton demonstrates two things: A, that somebody with personality that knows the game can be a good personality in sports. It's just hard to find that mix. And B, it really shows how truly smart Stephen A. Smith is pulling him into the fold when Shannon Sharp left the opening.
Yeah.
Kendrick Perkins is a waste of my time. There's so many people who do that thing and are a waste of my time. But to be smart enough to bring in a Cam Newton.
Well, Perk is a hot take artist anyway, too. So
what's that?
Perk is a hot take artist anyway. With the worst kind, though.
Yeah.
You can be a hot take artist and still have some value, but when you have no value or you're divisive for the sake of it, not because of anything that you can actually argue, like Jokic shouldn't be MVP because he's white. Fucking stupid. It's retarded.
It's Emmanuel Acho bad. I agree.
Oh yeah, I'm out on Acho too, for the record. I'm out on that
Welcome
guy.
to the party, pal.
Yeah, I'm out on that guy. So, but I think he's doing great. I just think it's really incredible what he's done. So, anyway, that's for me on this end. Do you So we'll do obviously next week we'll do the midterms. I love doing midterms with you. Get those grades ready to go. And we'll figure out from there. Anything else you want to plug? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, man. So you know what it is with me by now. I'm doing the normal thing. Of course, the Duval Dive will have their live stream episode Thursday night. Travis has returned from vacation. But in the meantime, to keep your appetite whet, you can make sure you can check out Wednesday night's Duval Dive. We'll drop our Trevor episode. We did kind of a mini series evaluating the players that the fans have most questions about, which happened to be Travis Hunter, BTJ. And then I mentioned actually tonight is Travis Etienne and the trade deadline upcoming and what we expect from that, because obviously week 8 rapidly approaching, and that's the week of the trade deadline. So that'll all be very interesting to see if the super active Jimmy Stones, aka James Gladstone, the GM of the Jags, does anything. All that'll be on the Duval Dive. Of course, make sure you check out the Bolt Blitz Uncut. We have our ice cream mixer, where we are celebrating with the Princess of the Darkness, and also CBS Sports personality Amy Trask and her announcement of being a Hall of Fame finalist as a contributor. So congratulations to her. And, of course, make sure you check out the Bolt Blitz Uncut, Babuga Peters, and the rest of the crew as well, where I am the producer. And then blackandgoldbanneret.com this weekend, UCF at Baylor. If they win this game, the opportunity for a bowl berth in a rebuilding year becomes super real. So make sure you check that out, blackandgoldbanneret.com and the Night Shift podcast. So, EJ Christian, by the way, when did the Magic forget to play how to play defense? I think we need to talk about that next time, buddy. But
yeah, I meant to add that to the docket actually too, because a little bit of that down so far.
Yeah, I would almost rather it start low and then get high than if it was starting great and then they hit a lull at the end. That's
2 years past, they've done that. They started great and then they just tail off.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens, man. People are already starting to whisper about if they don't get right soon, Moses gone. That's a whole question.
Stop. Good God, man.
We'll have that conversation next week, my friend. Until next time,
you got it.
Class dismissed.